Welcome to Chicks Outside the Box. I'm Kesi. I don't do this show alone. My fellow host Nneka and our producer Ronnie B join me each week. Good evening, team.
Hello, lady.
This week, we have an awesome guest, Chianne. Chianne is a unique artist, multilingual, great voice, and a passion to do good in this world makes her stand out. She's not predictable, a good thing, nor is she trying to compete with Katy Perry's of this world. She has her own style. Please join me in welcoming Chianne to the show.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Hi. Yep. It's so good to be here again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. As a special treat, we're featuring one of her songs, Return to Love, on Good Vibrations. Will the chicks feel the vibe or give it a short circuit? Before we start our interview with Chianne today, I'm turning the mic over to Ronnie B for our words of wellness. Over to you, Ronnie.
Thank you, Kesi. And, you know, Kesi and Nneka had a 2-week vacation. Guess who got left with the dishes? All right. Okay. Glad they did. It was well earned. And let's see what we have here. We have make something good. Sometimes you can't do much about what happens, but here's what you can always do. You can make something good out of it. You cannot prevent the tragedy, the injustice, the heartache that's already gone down. Yet, you can work to make something good from it. You can smile, look forward, hold your head up high. You can choose to be a positive influence in each moment that you have the good fortune to occupy. Driven by your intention to do so, you can make something good out of it with gratitude, responsibility, compassion, and love. You can give life a more positive version of itself. You don't have to complain or regret or blame or seethe in anger. You can stand up, step forward with enthusiasm, with good cheer, and make something good of it. From the good, the bad, the ugly, the sad, the joyous, the uncertain. Choose to respond in a positive, life-affirming way. See what's possible. Do what you can do and make something good. You know, one of my sisters was in a car accident, and she fortunately she wasn't bruised or hurt, but they had just bought the car.
Oh, wow.
And she said something that really stood out to me, and it had me think in different circumstances. And she said this: I have to look for the God in this, because somehow, somewhere, there's some good in this, and I just don't see it. And I was like, wow, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, wow. So over to Nneka for our opening interview with Chianne.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very deep. Thank you for sharing, Ronnie. So thank you, Chianne, for being our guest this evening.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
We're gonna learn a little bit about you. And so I wanted to kind of, ask you about a challenge that you faced. So we're going to learn a little bit about Chianne and a challenge she faced in well-being that could have knocked you out of the game. So somehow you've made it through that challenge and have seen the other side. Our guest provides a peek behind the curtain into a well-being challenge they faced and the difference it made in their lives and career. So with that, let's get started. Chianne, can you please share a time when you faced a challenge regarding your well-being that's impacted your career or your life in general?
Beautiful question. Let me think about it for a moment. But when you say well-being, I'm thinking about any area of our lives. As we know, we're being like holistic spiritual beings. So I feel like when we need sometimes we like a lot of the times, if you're not paying attention, if you're not being aware, we can be very much in misalignment, either physically or mentally or spiritually. And when we go about our lives without bringing ourselves back in alignment, then I feel like things can start to backfire us. And like it's like it's our if our wheel is not balanced, and then we start to like roll through the life in a very like wobbly way. So I feel that is, it's not just in terms of knocking me out of my game and in terms of music and anything, but I feel we're all faced with that challenge all the time. Like it's a matter of, I'm such a Libra person, so I'm all about balance. So I'm like, okay, I have to kind of bring myself back into balance and in alignment. So that can be, if I'm out of alignment, then I go in that mode of procrastination and putting things off and self-sabotaging myself and my dreams. And so it's I feel my challenge is about really teaching myself to be in alignment and to be present with my life, so that I can give my all to my work and everything, every part of my life. So I would say that would be my challenge, and like to really like sometimes, and finding time from your day to do self-care. Like it's been thought to us that as if it's, luxury, or it's, it's like something not to prioritize or anything. But I've been really learning that I have to prioritize my self-care and like self-love and checking myself if I am in alignment, if I'm like sleeping well, eating well, and connecting with nature and all those things. So that's, otherwise I'm like getting lost in that cycle of, not having the energy to pursue my like goals or like, and so that is, I would say that is kind of I will say that as a, well-being challenge.
Wow. I definitely, I get where you're coming from. That's something that I actually struggle with. So I hear you when you're saying with the alignment and just being, making sure that you're doing self-care and getting in alignment with yourself. That is very, very, very interesting. That you say that, and that's what you're doing, is making sure that you're present.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And just really like, not, we all have our like shadow side and our light side, and it's a matter of really, bringing light into our shadow. And that is that voice that is in our head telling negative things like, oh, like you can't make it, you're not good enough, blah, blah, whatever, that voice.
Right.
And it's a matter of like trying, I used to try to like, I'm like, how am I going to stop these thoughts? And like, how am I going to keep going and have faith in myself? And it's not about really like stopping at those, but really like paying attention and just befriending those fears and really like talking to them and asking, where is that coming from? And coming into alignment with them, and like not allowing that shadow side to lead, to drive, to have the driver's seat, but like to talk to the fears and say like, okay, I hear you. I know your fears. I know you're scared, but, let me lead, like just like you say, like, like being conscious, like being present, like, and being the loving parent to yourself kind of thing.
Right.
Learning that.
And seeing that you are, you have a career that's full of, you're a singer, you are a spiritual coach, holistic coach. How do you feel like that challenge affects you in terms of, your well-being and what it is that you need to do for you?
What I need to do for me, I need to make sure that, if I'm not feeling my best, if I'm feeling low energy or if I'm like sad or whatever, I never like numb. I learned not to numb my feelings. Like whatever is arising, they're welcome. And if, if the, cause the society has really taught us it's like to hide our emotions and not to feel them. Right. And actually the healing never happens through that. So we need to like really be present and like really observe our feelings, whatever is coming. So once I do that, I feel like, I either journal or go be in the nature, do some grounding on, whatever I feel like I need to do and do some art or anything to really, bring whatever it takes to get myself back in that aligned state, so that I can serve. Otherwise, I feel like if my cup is empty, then I cannot give to others, So it's about learning to fill your own cup first. I don't know if that answered your question.
Well, I wanted to ask, what has driven you to that point where you feel like, can you give us an example of something that you would have written in your journal where you reflected on it and you said, you know what, I need to get myself into alignment in order to like, there had to have been something that you would have written in your journal that was a challenge that you faced, that you felt was a huge impact that made you not sleep or didn't get enough rest or, that you had to then get back into alignment in order to fix that problem. So like, what was the actual challenge?
I feel like that is a daily practice that needs to be done. Besides having like one particular event that catalyzed it, but it's really if we're talking about the music part of my journey, I would say I had so many negative thoughts thrown at me and so many people, not having the support that I needed from my closest environment. And therefore, a lot of times I felt like I'm like battling alone. And I felt that because I also started not in a very young age, usually like people start in a really younger, like singer. Okay. And so I kind of put my previous, I kind of put my previous, educations and my career on the shelf to pursue something totally, new and totally unknown, and it was very like challenging. It was very fearful. I'm like, okay, I'm walking a path that I don't know where it's leading me. And I felt, at times lonely in the path and like so many roadblocks on the path. So it was, but my heart was pulling me in that direction. So all I had was that faith of, like God is telling me, walk this path and I just trusted that, and I kept walking. And even though I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, a lot of times I kept walking. And there were times I was also like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just like, it's not getting anywhere, and I want to give up. Like, I found myself in that space so many times also, but it's the matter of, and then, I allow myself to take pauses, but then I realized, actually, like, is this my fear holding me back? I guess, so I need to bring myself back in alignment and really have a talk with myself. Like, do I want to keep walking this path, or like, is this my fears coming up? It's really, I feel we need to see, like, if other people's thoughts, limiting beliefs, if we are, embracing and the others' thoughts about us, about the path we're walking, and let that influence us. I feel like I have done it in the past a lot, and without knowing. And that has stopped me a lot. And also other part of it is, like, I would say, having expectations, having expectations on an outcome. So, I always trying to bring myself back in that space of why I started this, like, why I had to sing. I didn't have to, why I had to, like, what was the initial pull? So, like, and when I think about it, it was because that's just bringing me joy. I love it. I love expressing myself through singing and writing and, all those things. But then there are, some societal expectations and other things are being added as ego, saying like, oh, I need to succeed. I need to make it, and to prove them, that I show them that I can make it. I'm not crazy for, like, following something new that is totally uncertain. So it's a matter of really purifying the intentions every time I feel the ego is trying to take over and the fear is trying to take over. It's like not allowing the ego and the fears lead the way, but take a pause, breathe, and bring yourself back in alignment, and remember the why you started, and start again.
I love it.
Remember your why.
It. Yes. Remember your why. Yes. We are taking notes. Remember your why. That is beautiful to be in spiritual alignment. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. So a few things that stood out for me was just your moment of truth, or your breakthrough of going back and just, like you said, remembering your why, just kind of implementing the higher being and just being like, okay, this is what I want to do. This brings me joy. I can't let my ego get in the way of trying to say, I have to prove to everyone that I've done successful. I have to be in alignment with me, and this is what's bringing me joy. Let the naysayers go over there and be naysayers. That's really amazing. And it's very powerful to understand of how you have to live your truth in your life. And when you're following your purpose, right? That is so important. And I'm hearing just everything that you're saying and how this is just so applicable to so many lives, so many people that are going through it. I personally, you get to the stage of procrastination because you feel overwhelmed and you just don't know what to do with yourself. And you're like, okay, am I really doing the right thing? So, thank you for, sharing, your truth and what it is that you're doing on your journey and how you're living in your truth and following your passion and doing so in such a beautiful manner. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. I'm trying. Thank you.
We will learn more about Chianne later on in the show. It's now time for Good Vibrations with Ronnie B.
Oh man, thank you, ladies. That was really, really awesome. Really, really awesome. On Good Vibrations, we feature new music and vote whether the track has good vibes or needs to be short-circuited. Now, today, we are featuring music from our guest, Chianne. And we're going to hear a track from her. And the name of the track is Return to Love. You know, it's that it just sounds
That's
so,
my first single.
it sounds so appropriate, but
I know.
I have to kind of warn you, them chicks, like I said, they like Simon Cowell on America's Idol. I done seen them thumbs down on a gospel song, so they rough. Now, no, not really, not really. I'm just teasing. So we're going to hear DJ. Let's hear "Return to Love."
Living in an era in which we get to realize that our fears are far behind us as we return to love. Open your heart, return to love, to who you really are. Turn your face up to the sun, root your feet on the ground. Dark clouds come and go, you remain as a sky. Shine bright no matter what, swipe away all the dust, 'cause you're a stardust.
All right, that was Return to Love. So let me check in on the panel, see what they have to say. Kesi, does Return to Love have good vibes, or are you giving it a short circle?
Man, it has good vibes. Nothing but good vibes. It's so smooth.
Nneka, what are you saying?
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Great vibes.
Mm-mm. Well, I can't go
Thank
against
you.
that flow, Chianne. Chianne, I'm just going. When can we get married so you can sing that song in my ear every night? I ain't got no money.
Oh,
I ain't got no money, so we have to live on love.
all right.
Live on love.
Gotta live on love.
Right. All right. And
Yeah. It's been a
with-
while I heard my song, so I was also just dancing myself listening to it right now.
Nice.
So good. Thank you for reminding me my song.
All right. And well, our time is tight, so I'm going to just go ahead and move on. On Good Vibrations Part 2, we will feature spoken word from Lisa B, but it's over to you, Kesi, for the interview.
All right, Chianne. All right, Ronnie just turned it over to me, and I can't wait for the interview. Are you ready?
Yes.
Awesome. So you have a full schedule, right? So what are one or two challenges to your well-being that you keep an eye on? And what actions are you taking? So what are you making note of? So if you see it pop up, you'll know, okay, here what? I need to make corrective action.
One or two challenges to my well-being. I would say sleeping patterns and also eating well. It's so basic, but sometimes, I really try my best to take, good care of myself, my body. But sometimes there are times that we sleep. I sleep and I'm like, oh, okay. I go to sleep maybe later than I hope. And then the day after I pay the cost for it. I have lower energy. So, just simple things, but also meditating, I would say, and exercising are so important. And it's just to have a morning ritual. It's so important, I would say. It's the way you start your day, set the tone for the rest of the day. So it's really important. And there are times that I'm very consistent with it, but there are times also I just let it fly a little bit. I don't, start my day right away with, turning on my phone, checking my social media and stuff like that. And that's so bad. And I totally see the impacts on it throughout my day if I start my day like that. So I feel it's those being consistent and really having that discipline and self-discipline to really have those healthy habits.
It's important to have those healthy habits and self-discipline. I feel like I did the same thing as well. Well, I've been trying to, where I set an alarm in the morning to try and just wake me up to remind me, hey, you need to show yourself some love at this time. Because I feel like I've been in a space for so long where I wasn't showing myself love. And just love for me is just lighting a candle, just sitting there, just meditating for a couple minutes just to show me, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for waking up this morning. And
I love that.
I get it.
Yeah. And even that 2 minutes makes huge difference, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yep. It has changed my life a lot. It has changed my life a lot. So I have another question for you. When it comes to managing your well-being, what sacrifices have you seen others make that may have not been well thought out? You see them making these mistakes, or you see them doing these things over and over again. What have you seen more frequently, especially now?
Especially now, yeah. I want to answer that in terms of the now, what I'm seeing in the collective. How I'm not going to disregard the reality of this virus, but at the same time, I feel like the fear is the pandemic.
Wow.
The people are choosing to fear so much that, they are, when we fear, we'll actually lower our
vibration
in vibration and our immune system, and we're actually more prone to get sick. And the media is doing that. It's just like pumping fear all over, everywhere. It's just like, and to see that how people are actually equating the health and well-being to just social distancing and wearing masks, to me it's crazy. I must say, to speak my truth is just, I don't just align with that. I'm like, it's why we're not talking about how to make the immune system, stronger. How can we take better care of ourselves? How can we bring ourselves into alignment holistically? Like we're spiritual beings. Like how can we align spiritually and like physically? Like why those things are not being talked about, but everything we hear is just like, oh, social distance and wear masks, which are the opposite of health, in my opinion. It's like you need to, breathing is our life force. So you need to like, we need each other. We need to, they taught us to fear each other. It's so sad.
Instead of going out and practicing well-being and going out, being healthy, getting fresh air, spending time outdoors, locking yourself in the house and not having vitamin D really.
And hand sanitizing all the time.
Exactly.
Healthy. Right.
Cannot be healthy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunately totally like putting all these chemicals in our bodies. And it's totally, I feel like that it's all flipped right now. The mentality of what is healthy and what is not, and if the governments are really caring about our health, and like it's like eat like then remove the McDonald's and like all these unhealthy processed foods. Drink alcohol and like it's but wear a mask and social distance and you're fine. No, and put the vaccine. So I don't know. I'm just really I'm quite as ground really passionate about this in the last year. I'm like, oh no, I'm not buying into this.
I love your truth, and I love that you share your truth, because that's it. A lot of people don't share their truth because they're afraid of what someone else may say or the critique they're going to get for sharing their truth. So I appreciate that.
Now I faced with so many critics too along the way, and that actually grew me stronger in terms of that. I'm like, well, everybody's going to have their opinion and it doesn't matter. All I have to do is to share my truth. And if it doesn't align with some people, it's okay. Everyone has their own journey, their own, like lessons. We all have different consciousness or everything, but I'm at this level. I'm not afraid to speak my truth.
I love it. I love it. And it sounds like that's where you kind of draw the line, where you kind of draw the line to make sure that you're taken care of.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm really big on health, holistic health, like using supplements, fresh air, sun, connection, and meditation, and all those ways of getting
and all the natural elements that we have that are here.
Exactly. We got everything in nature that is, absolutely. I'm not disregarding Western medicine. I don't want to sound that way. And science, but there is also the thing is that there are so many scientists and doctors that are saying the exact same thing, but their voices are being suppressed, unfortunately. As you say, they are also scared of speaking their truth to lose their licenses and etc. So Well, I mean,
Sure. But I appreciate, thank you for sharing. I got a lot from you sharing, because, you know, it's fear. Fear of sharing our truth. Regardless of what that truth is, I feel like there are always voices that are sometimes louder or scream louder, shout louder. So you feel intimidated to share what your truth is. So I appreciate you sharing. And that's what I just got from that, you know?
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Chianne, we're going to move on to Ronnie. It's time for another visit to Good Vibrations. Ronnie?
All right. We got some good vibrations. And that last conversation, the vibe was good. Okay. Welcome back to Good Vibrations. And we actually, we have a performance from Lisa B. DJ, let's hear Look It Up, Kid.
You say you want every girl in the world, that's some wish list. I dare no one to match it. Just be mindful that every one of 4 of these girls come a package that you can't be wrapped and give back, kid. I am a poet laureate, yeah, look it up, kid. You can have the hearts of a lion in any lyrical battle, but I am the one that they call daddy, look it up, kid. I remain calm, but then I close the mouths of the ears. Lisa and relentless is synonymous. Just like for my scheme, if you dare, I'm fighting to reverse that lyrical curse that you spit in my neighbor's ear. My words are heaven sent. God's sign and spirit seals it's not deliberate. With no intent to come in at number one, my God is 3 and 1. I have no problem being numberless. But is your ignorance infinite? Always bragging about the latest rhyme that you spit. I'm a lady. I don't spit, I tsunami. FEMA's still looking for me. And if they ever try to lock me away, I'll just plead temporary insanity and tell them that I see dead poets that I try to resurrect in my dreams. I got you thinking that I'm crazy, but you still want me on your team. Because if you like Kobe up to date and I'm like Mike in the 90s, go ahead, put up 80 points, boy, I got 6 rings. You can have MVP, I'm a dynasty. I'm that bull in my mouth with the 7th ring. You're that bull, they never talk about your simple mind, little thing. My brain waves are so crazy, I just heard radio frequencies and you still tune in daily. I don't take this lightly. I go to sleep with a pen in my hand just in case my thoughts try to jump out the bed, get with it. I'm a huge fan of dreaming, because every night when I'm asleep, God writes on the inside of my eyelids. And the devil tried to eBay my soul, but I wouldn't let him get a bid in. I tell him that it's music tricks off the kids, but call me a silly rabbit. I got all kind of tricky words up my sleeve. That's why I wear long sleeve. I'm a cutter. I slash wrists the poets who don't grip the pen correctly. I should have been a doctor. I get verbal hysterectomies. Come across my path and your notebooks go barren. You won't be able to write nothing for a week. While I stay fertile, I procreate words like John and Kate. And if I was a dude, my pen will never shoot blanks. I'm timeless. I'm priceless. It's a priceless that they let me get away with this. I'm timeless. I'm priceless. I should be illegal. Damn, they let me get away with this.
All right. Look It Up, Kid by Lisa B. Okay. And Kesi, what's the verdict?
Nice. Good vibes.
Okay. Our guest, Chianne. What did you think of Look It Up, Kid? We're going to see if we can get Chianne unmuted. But in the meantime, Nneka, the
yes. Wow, that was a very articulate vibe.
Okay. And
I didn't realize I was in mute. Sorry. Yes, good vibes.
She had a line I couldn't capture it because you was talking so damn fast. Every night God writes verses inside my eyelids.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Deep. Very deep.
And I'm like, hey. And she said she goes to sleep with a pen in her hand, because thoughts might come up.
Yes.
Step out of bed. I'm like, okay, baby.
Listen, let me tell you. Every night I go to my bed and God writing verses on my eyelids. I do.
Wow. That's really.
Okay, all right. It's time for Nneka with our weekly butt kick actions for energy. Woo! All right, over to you.
Thank you. Butt kick actions for outside the box prosperity thinking. I hope you enjoyed my butt kick series for energy empowerment. Next show, we are starting a new series that's about money. Anyone need more money in their life? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone? Chianne, you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, why not? Yeah.
Would it be nice to have too much money as a problem? My next series is butt kick actions for outside the box prosperity thinking. Be prosperous in thought, take actions consistent with those prosperous thoughts, and you have money, the natural product of prosperity. So this week, I'm going to share a few responses from the community and the impact your sharing has had on Kesi and I. So Jessica from Denver, Colorado. Sister Kesi, you remind me of a girl I grew up with in Omaha. She was really sweet and sharp as a tack. You and Nneka are proof that Black women can work together and put egos aside. Hey guys, women do have egos. By the way, love the music from Sister Avis. Why aren't they promoting her more? Your show keeps me thinking. Thanks.
Nice.
I know, right?
Appreciate it, Jessica from Denver.
And Sister Avis that music was good.
Yes.
Really good.
Yes. They really need to be promoting her more. I feel like her music needs to be,
Yeah, definitely out there because it's definitely, in spiritual connection and guidance and coping.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to work together because we don't have our egos. We're out to help the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to put your ego aside when you're looking to help people
mm-hmm.
and help them cope with their journey in life and what they're going through.
Yeah.
And so if we can do anything to do that, that's what we want to do.
Correct.
That's what we're trying to connect with. And egos has no room in
correct
in there for us. Go ahead.
No. You have to put your ego aside.
Yeah. All right. Dorothy from New York. Oh, I miss it there. Mother Nneka, you are wonderful. I was terrified and inspired in my heart. I knew I needed to make a butt kick bold request. I asked my husband not to beat me and give me a divorce. He looked at me for what seemed like hours and tears started rolling down his face. He said, I lost who I was. You deserve someone capable of loving you. I was scared to death he was going to get angry, but he didn't. After a few minutes, he said, yes, you may have a divorce and I'm leaving tonight.
Wow.
You are strong, Mother Nneka, and I wish to be like you. Miss Avis brought a smile to my face, and between you and her, Sister Kesi and Ronnie B, I knew I could go for it no matter what. Bless you, Mother Nneka, and everyone on Chicks. Bless you.
And bless you too, Dorothea.
Wow.
We really feel your story.
Yeah, that's impactful. That is really, really impactful that she was able to be bold and request what she needed so that she could get, her life going and be in alignment with herself and follow up with a lot of the advice that Sister Avis was giving, because she was really giving some good advice in terms of that spiritual connection and that higher being and reaching out and understanding that you have to go to that higher being in order to get through some of the things. So she was able to do that. And that is great. She implemented a great butt kick action and make that bold request. Nice.
And sometimes those requests are hard, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
Chianne, is there anything you want to share about what you heard in the letters?
Wow, it was powerful. It's definitely, I feel for that lady. I mean, and I'm so proud of her that she took that leap of faith to trust, to choose herself and to really choose the self-love over, and set firm, clear boundaries about like knowing, no, this is not what I'm worth, how I, deserve to be treated. So if you cannot give it to me, allow me to go and, it's powerful.
A lot of us don't choose us first.
Right.
We don't. We in life go through and we don't make that decision to just choose us. Like choose yourself first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first. You know, just like in the plane, they're like, before you can help your kids, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And it's a bold request because fear, you know, what if I put it on me first and the other person gets hurt? But sometimes that's just the step
that you have to take.
That is the step you have to take.
Powerful.
Yeah. It's unconditional love for others, but also we need to give it to ourselves.
Yes. Yes. And that's what mindfulness and well-being is about, is being mindful that you have to take care of you. You cannot take care of anyone else as much as we want to if we don't take care of ourselves. And I think we're raised in a generation of, oh, well, if I do this, and I know we talk about this all the time. Is that we put everyone else, we put the husband first, the kids first. But what good are we to them if we are not okay?
100%.
And so we have to be okay, and we have to be, you know, present and good to ourselves so that we can be great for others.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
totally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so the next show, we're going to start our new series. Get excited. We're going to empower you in being unreasonable with yourself and gracious with others as keys to prosperity. It's time for Kesi with the finale. Over to you, Kesi.
Thanks, Nneka. Thanks. And we're ready for the final hurrah. Chianne, I have one final question for you. If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing for the better, what would that one thing be?
One thing for the better about myself, I assume? Or
that could be for yourself, that could be for the world, that could be if you could change just one thing for the better, what would that one thing be?
I would change sometimes I feel like I wish I could change the way people, like all of us, are choosing to live from the state of fear versus love, and you know, that people choose love. Return to love.
Love that answer.
Return to our pure essence.
Return to our pure
essence. And not
fear
fear from any external things, virus or anything. Just, you know, we are eternal beings.
Wow. That sounds like a new song. Return to our pure essence.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly. That's what it was intended in that song, actually, by saying return to love. Return to our essence.
Nice. Yeah. Chianne, thank you so much for being on the show.
And oh my God, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be with you guys.
I appreciate it. I want you to share with our listeners how they can follow you, how they can keep up to date, and also feel free to give a shout out to anyone.
Sure. You can follow me on social media and on Chianne, like CHIANNE.com is my, website. And then on Instagram, I go by Chianne Ozgur. So CHIANNEOZGUR. And you can find my music on Spotify, on iTunes, or anywhere. And thank you for having me here. And I'm giving a shout out to you guys. You guys are really beautiful people and awesome. And it's a pleasure and privilege to be here on the show with you and have a chat with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It does. It really, really does.
Yeah.
Well, Nneka, over to you.
So it's the end of our show. And I find myself at the end of the show having this cathartic thing that I want to say. Ronnie's like, put it in your interview. I'm working on it. So the questions that we have are geared to help our listeners, and they in turn help ourselves in what we're going through, our journey, our life's journeys. So being allowed to hear you share your story, your coping skills, and what you're doing to get through with difficult situations and challenges is so crucial and important to us and touches us to our core. This show has really been beautiful, as your music is beautiful. You can tell you're just a beautiful soul that's interested in making sure that we all get back to our essence and love. And, if we have people that are listening that's experiencing those situations or issues are currently going through it, I hope, what you shared will definitely touch them as it's touched us and gave us some pointers because we're here taking notes. You don't see us, but we're here taking, we're like, yes. So, each week we're able to, help grow our listeners, in what they're doing in ourselves as well. So I love the tools that you're offering, in coping and aligning and improving your well-being. That is so crucial. And I'm so glad that you shared. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sharing your truth. So to end our show, if what you thought to be true turned out not to be true, when would you want to know? Chicks outside the box. Thanks for listening.